matters to my future
Why?
of ever wanting to be a dad. I'm worn out.
What?
Oh my God.
But I got this thing. Thank God. That's little Ed Jr. in there.
What's good, YouTube? Welcome back to Grim. Sorry it's been so long since you all have seen a video from me. I've been in the middle of just an absolutely insane move, but luckily that is in the past now, so it's back to the grind on YouTube. But today we are going to be taking a look at this tell-all again. Honestly, there's going to be a part in this video that is probably one of the hardest to watch and sit through things I have ever seen on this channel, mainly because we all know Ed is cringy, but what he does in this video, I can't even believe he chose to film. That's going to be towards the end though, so make sure you watch until the very end. But for now, let's just get into it and see how much of a mess he is being on this tell-all. He's trying everything in his power to desperately get Liz back, even though he's done, I don't know, 1,000,001 things to screw her over and just basically be a terrible person. But for now, let's just jump into it. So first things first, we're starting things off with them talking about Colt and Vanessa, who, if you haven't been watching the 90-day series, basically Vanessa was his side chick that he ended up having an affair with, and officially now they are engaged, or maybe even married, I don't remember. But Ed, of course, has to chime in because, you know, there's just this battle going on between Colt and Ed for some reason, and this is the most hypocritical thing I've ever seen Ed say. It's actually kind of hilarious to me, but check out what he says here.
Nobody's looking at the casual damage. With all due respect, Vanessa, what you did to your husband, think about what you did. You cheated on your husband.
So Mr. High and Mighty over here, I love the way Colt's looking at him, by the way, just like disgusted that he even has to listen to this man talk. Mr. High and Mighty, Ed himself, is really just trashing Vanessa here. Like, think about what you did to your husband. You cheated on him with this guy Colt. Why would you do that? That's a sick thing. You should have thought of the collateral damage. You are hurting people by doing this. And the reason you might not realize is as hypocritical of Ed, if you haven't been following his life as closely as I do, is his first wife, you know, that only relationship that he's had really in the last 30 years. Actually, it was like nearly 30 years ago now. The mother of his child, he ended up actually getting a divorce with her because he was unfaithful. Quite interesting that he's really dishing out some trash talk to Vanessa and Colt over here as if they're the worst people on earth for cheating, which I kind of agree with. That's obviously a terrible thing to do to your partner, and you're a sick person if you do that. But Ed should not be the one coaching them on this when he has done it himself and got a divorce because of it. Get off your high horse, bro.
It's not acceptable. You know,
Is your Ed talking, or are we charging by the hour now?
Whatever. Okay, whatever. So, yeah, I'll give you a jar of mayonnaise. But listen,
you know, Debbie should have never brought up that jar of mayonnaise because now Ed's never going to drop it. That's the only thing that's on the forefront of his mind. And obviously that little comment that she made in the last video about him rubbing mayonnaise through his hair really got to him because that's his only jab he can give back to her whenever she interjects. But really, dude, we don't need your therapy talk here. You're not a licensed professional. If anything, you have the messiest life out of everyone on this stage. So it's really rich that you're trying to give life advice, especially when it's something you've gone and done to an even worse degree, bro. You had a child with that woman you cheated on. Yo, really quick, you guys, there's a large chunk of you that watch my videos that aren't subscribed, which is kind of whack if you ask me, but make sure if you're enjoying the videos, please scroll down and hit that subscribe button. It helps me out so much, as well as like the video so that more people can see it. But without further ado, we'll get back into the video.
you're not perfect, obviously. I'm not perfect, obviously, okay? You throw shoes. I think that's awesome. But you're a human being. I'm sorry.
Oh, did you guys hear that? Ed thinks it's awesome to throw your shoe at your partner if you get mad at them in a fight, just like Jess did. Just another thing to love Ed for. Great little comment there. I'm glad you enjoyed that part, Ed. I just hope you don't ever do that to Liz whenever you guys get in fights after you're on your like 6th glass of Malbec or whatever that crap is called. So that's all fine and fun. I just wanted to wrap up that little Colt segment that we left off on last time. And then they go on to a pause here where the show takes a little breather and they all go backstage. And I thought this clip was really interesting because Ed takes, you know, as we all know, every single possibility he can with Liz to manipulate her and gaslight her and just basically be a scumbag. And that's exactly what he does. As soon as the cameras stop, they go backstage at least, he immediately starts trying to work his magic on her and make her think that it's her fault that they've been broken up. So let's get to that. It's just another showing of his true colors. Ed is such a bad dude when it comes down to it.
Your hair looks great.
Thanks.
I'm trying to figure out why we broke up. Can you tell me?
The drinking.
Yikers. So I was joking about the Malbec in that last line, but it sounds like their drinking truly has been a massive problem for their relationship, which I could have told you that. That's going to be a problem with most relationships, especially if you're not, you know, able to control yourself, much like Ed is. It seems like every time we've seen him this season, he's busting open a glass of wine. You know, he might be getting help with it, but it sounds like that was one of the main things that caused a rift with them. I'm sure their fights were incredibly messy whenever they got drunk. And it's just so funny that literally as soon as they sit down, he's like,
I like your hair. I don't even remember why we broke up. We should probably get back together, huh? I'm just kidding.
Like, dude, it's not gonna work this time. Or actually, it probably will, knowing Liz, and just every time you say something, she just welcomes you back with open arms. So I'm sure it actually might work.
What killed me was that it was like final. Like it was really over.
You made it final.
But you accepted it.
No, I didn't. You dropped my and then blocked me and left to Vegas.
And see what I mean by gaslighting? Literally, Ed says to her face, well, you're the one that made the breakup final. Even though, let's just run it back real quick and think about what he did when they broke up this last time. He blocked her, went on a surprise trip to Vegas with these two sugar babies, took photos with them all over Vegas, and was bragging all over social media about how he's a single man living the life down in Vegas. And apparently threw all of Liz's stuff on the corner and basically kicked her out of his house after he invited her and her daughter to live with him. That is just the makings of a true monster. And again, it's another reason why I don't feel bad for Ed throughout this whole roller coaster of him trying to find love. It's never gonna happen because he's just flat out a bad dude and doesn't really deserve it, if you ask me. And he could cry all he wants on stage, but I just don't feel bad for the guy.
I didn't expect for you to hurt me.
I didn't expect to fall in love with you. Why don't you just tell me to hey, you wanna go on a date? Go yourself. Why did you torture me?
And he's like giggling while saying this, trying to make it lighthearted, but this is just more manipulation and terrible speaking coming from Ed. You notice how he's spinning everything and making it about her and that it's her fault? I didn't expect to fall in love with you, Liz. Why did you work at that restaurant and be so pretty while I went there and ate and then fell in love with you? Why did you do that? You shouldn't have even worked there. You should have told me to go away. It's your fault that you got hurt in this relationship and that I had to go to Vegas with these sugar babies, okay? It's all your fault, Liz.
In a way, I kind of got my friend back.
Me too.
I feel better. I feel like I've gotten things off my chest.
How can you possibly feel better about this, Liz? This entire tell-all has been a train wreck. Ed has not been that accountable for any of his actions. Yes, he said, I have problems, I'm going to see my therapist about it. But that doesn't change when he literally goes back to his same old ways as soon as they go backstage, okay? This dude has not had any personal growth. If anything, he's just on this show to feed his ego and become even more famous in his head, even though he's only famous for being a beach ball that also is just a cringe magnet. I just don't get it, man. What do you see in him, Liz? Stop making this work. Stop trying so hard to make this work. Just let it fall apart. So then as a final little attempt at, salvaging this relationship for the, 10,000th time in this one little season of television, that's how common their fights have been. So in his last attempt to salvage this, Ed says, you know what? We should do couples therapy. I can't guarantee it's gonna go anywhere, but I want to try to make this work, babe. We need to make this work. Which, of course, Liz kind of halfway agrees to. Either way, they're about to go back on stage, and now the real fun part's about to start. Well, not actually fun. It's gonna be something that you're gonna want to wash your eyes out with soap afterwards after seeing. But regardless, let's move back onto stage and see what we got in store for us. So they resume the show, and they're talking to another couple that are on this season that have been having some issues with having children. I believe the woman, Molly, has had her tubes tied, so obviously that's not really gonna work having a child of their own. They talk about possible adoption, and the host takes this time to make a beautiful segue back to Ed, the main star of the show, who also wanted to have his tubes tied, or whatever you call him, get the snip basically. But yeah, I don't want to give away too much. Let's just let this unravel. And again, if you are really queasy or just not good at handling awkward things, it's just gonna be a tough one for you, but we're in this together, okay?
So I just arrived in LA. I'm gonna go up. I'm excited.
What?
My doctor told me no heavy lifting, so when I'm gonna use both my hands.
Oh my God. Okay, that one was low-key kind of funny. Ed does get me, like, I would say maybe 1 out of every 50 of his jokes lands, but that one was pretty solid. So, for those out of the loop or just kind of confused on what's going on, Ed went in to get his surgery to where he could not have children anymore, but before that, he wanted to preserve his, baby batter, let's say, so that he could maybe use it to bake a baby cake one day with Liz's oven. You know, does that make sense? I'm trying to make this as PG as possible, but basically he's going to a place to get a specimen, as they call it, and he decided to vlog the whole thing. What a joy. Let's just see this unfold. I know it's what we all wanted to do for this beautiful weekend. We just wanted to watch Ed do this.
So I'm inside the room, and with my little specimen cup, dim the lights for that just special moment. And I'm not gonna film this part.
Thank God you're not gonna film that part. I was kind of on edge about that, like TLC was maybe just gonna pixelate it or something, but no, you need your privacy for this part at least, Ed. I know you wanna share every little facet of your life with us, but this is the one thing I think you should keep behind closed doors, bro.
Why?
Here we go. Here's to my future
Why?
of ever wanting to be a dad. I'm worn out.
What? Oh my God.
But I got this one. Thank God.
Oh my God, I just want to curl up in a ball and die and never see another thing. Like, I literally just want to take my eyeballs out. I don't want to ever see another scene of Ed's face or anything in my life. Sorry if the audio got weird there. I had to lay back. I got very lightheaded for a moment. The way that it cuts to him, he's saying, all right, I'm going to do this thing. And then it just instantly cuts to him, like, I don't know, an hour later, sweatier than ever, looking like he just did his first workout of the decade. This is just not okay, TLC. You guys are way out of pocket for doing this and showing this and having him vlog it. I know this was like a setup bit, but still, why did you think of this?
That's little Ed Jr. there. All right. I gotta go get some Malbec.
So as he said, there could be possibly a little Big Ed in that cup one day. Hopefully it never gets used and they honestly just throw away that specimen, because I don't think we need any more little Big Eds running around. Kind of an oxymoron there, little Big Ed, but whatever. Either way, that was the worst vlog I've ever seen. And I've seen some pretty trash vlogs on YouTube, but that has to be the worst thing ever captured on film, I'd say.
I went with Ed to that appointment, but I did not know he was recording that whole journey. I sat in the car for 2.5 hours, and that was shocking.
Liz even went with him and just sat in the car for 2 hours, she said. 2 hours, Ed? If it's taking that long. Again, I just don't think you have the genes or the ability to be fathering a child anymore, man. Your heyday is behind you. I know you just used to be like a huge swollen bodybuilder and everything. I've seen the pictures, but you're an old man, you're frail, and it's taking you 2 hours to do that, bro. Hang it up. You're never gonna have this child with Liz. Just that idea of her waiting that long, knowing what's going on in there, that's so hilarious to me. But either way, I know without a doubt I have to take a freaking shower at this point. Now, the next video that I'm gonna have of this tell-all is probably gonna be the final one, but it is pretty serious because we're gonna get into the nitty-gritty of Ed and Liz's relationship and some other things that have leaked outside of the show since that paint Ed in a very, very terrible light that I do need to talk about and just point out as we kind of wrap up this saga, at least for this season of the show. So let me know what you thought of this episode down below. If you made it this far, you are a true cringe warrior. I am surprised that you honestly watched until the very end. So drop a like if you haven't already. Leave a comment letting me know you made it to the very end. And as always, I appreciate all the viewers, all the people liking the videos. I'm so glad you guys still enjoy watching this cringe ball with me. And I will see you all in the next video. Until then, peace out.